Hello, I'm going to lay out a roadmap for how to get your business to mature in the social media space. So a lot of businesses have gotten into social media, but they don't really know where to go from there. And we're going to lay out a roadmap of kind of what your next steps should be if you're a business that is getting involved with social media. Stay tuned.
Hi, my name is Mike Roberts. I am an online marketing specialist. You can find all my marketing materials on my website at mrobertsonline.wordpress.com.
I'm going to talk about 5 steps that your business can use as a roadmap if you're involved in social media. And this will be 5 steps to mature your business in the social media space. So the first step is really simple. It's launch. The adoption rate for social media is incredible. The vast majority of businesses have Facebook pages, they have Twitter pages. A lot of them don't see returns, they don't see justification for being in the space because they're not really involved with it yet. They kind of put up the sites and send out a few tweets, a few Facebook posts, and they don't really get it. What's the point? And what they need to do is really get involved with it quite a bit more to build a community, and there's a lot of other goals you can set up to reap from social media. But the second stage is the formation stage. So this is one of the uses for social media is for PR and for crisis management and for connecting with customers. And this is where this stage is really important. The formation stage is where you see corporate governance or social media governance and social media policies come into play. That's where you're actually putting some thought into what is going to happen when crises come out. So you have a crisis response plan, responding to customers. You have processes for who does what in your organization in regards to social media, and you have a workflow, approvals. You've put some thought into your presence on social media. The third stage is to formalize. So this is the point where you have a center of excellence. This is not just we have people that are governing or restricting or making sure that there isn't any risk with social media, but you actually have champions in your organization that are striving to learn best practices and learning to apply those and what that looks like in your specific business and your specific industry. And these are people that are really teaching others and leading the charge. Most of the time it's the marketing department, and the problem is that the rest of the organization usually lags behind and they're not really involved. So if you're going to respond to customers, a lot of times it's really slow because you need to consult or you need to get buy-in from other people in other parts of the organization in order to have a unified approach. And that's where we really get into enablement. So enablement is when, it's best explained when you have like a hub and spoke model. So this is going to be the stage where you're really going to be able to scale your social media efforts. The mom and pop shop on the corner, the way they do social media is going to be drastically different than if you're Hewlett Packard or you're Whole Foods or you're some sort of a chain nationwide restaurant where you have a corporation headquarters and then you have regions that are all trying to do social media. And on one end of the scale, you have all of the regions taking charge, and the corporate headquarters is really not involved. So the regions are doing their own thing, and the problem is that at that point is that the regions don't talk to each other. They don't know what the other regions are doing, and there's also not much enforcement, or unification. And so that's obviously a problem. The other end of the scale, which is a problem, is when you have, like we just talked about, you have the center of excellence, the people in the headquarters that are champions for doing social media, but it doesn't scale very well because you can't have them do all the stuff for the regions. They're too detached and it's not relevant enough. You need the people in the front lines involved with the customers to be the ones on the social media channels. So what the winning combination is in this enablement stage is where you have a center of excellence, but you're able to, and they're able to set the policies and set the standards and set the best practices for the organization and how it's going to be applied and all those things. They govern it, but then it's all of the regions that separately are actually on the front lines carrying out the social media on the channels, responding to customers, putting out posts. It's store specific, it's location specific, region specific. So you can have a much more customized, tailored, experience with your customers. And so that's kind of the enablement stage, and that's really far beyond many organizations. And the last stage is enlightenment. This is really the goal for all of you involved in social media, is to get to a point where you're able to respond to customers in real time, and you have a very connected organization that is all on board. Every department is on board. Every region and the corporate headquarters are all on board, ready to respond to the customers. And so if it's a customer issue concern, or if it's a manufacturing problem, or if it's whatever the issue is, the entire organization has decided what the policies will be, how to implement them, how to carry them out, and so you're able to respond in a real time, solving the customer's problem, and then you eventually start to be able to predict what the problems will be and be able to solve it before the customer has the problem. So that's the goal. And so I thought I'd lay that out. 5 steps. You have launch, formation, formalize, enablement, and enlightenment. So use that as a little roadmap and as a little bit of direction if you feel a little aimless in the social media implementation in your business.